of the state. So the fact that we use the FRNs makes us enemies. So this is why they can be hostile with you when they meet you, because you're technically an enemy of the state. Because the District of Columbia is the only state of the United States.
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Every other state is its own nation. Yes, every other state is its own nation. California, its own nation. New York, its own nation. So when you become a national, it's to whatever state you were born in, or your grandparents, because your grandparents, you can get naturalized through your grandparents. I know, right? So if you wasn't an American, but your grandparents was, and they were born over here, you can claim nationality through your grandparents. So, but yeah, the nationality is based off of whatever state you were born in, and each state is its own nation. So when they said United States, it really should have been United Nations. What? We got a United Nations though. I know, right? But
Oh shit! That's how
that's
it
what,
is.
yeah, that's what it really would have been. It would have been the United Nations of America, because each state equals nation. So that's why you can be a national, whatever place you were born, because that's your birthright of being born over here. So me being born in Texas, I am a Texan. Anytime for now on, when I fill out anything and other, I'm checking other and putting Texas. Yeah, 10 by 10 square miles around Washington is only thing belonging to the United States. Yes. That the district, that little 10 by 10 is it. That's the only state technically in the United States as a part of the United States. So the rest of us are our own country. So we're technically international and are enemies of the state. So does that make sense? Because the last time I said that, people wasn't understanding what I was saying.
It does make sense. Because in the Bible
Okay.
it says ignorance is sin. So yeah.
Yeah, the Title 15 of the USC explains their deception. Oh, maybe we'll look at that tomorrow. Kind off topic, but wanted to share before. There's only 3 constitutional courts in the US. Okay. You mean like 3 that's based off of the Constitution? Because that's basically what we want to be. We want to be based off the Constitution. But I'm going to tell you right now, Mariola, I'm going to have a Bible in my hand if they call me into the courtroom. Like, what? I'm going to have a Bible. That's really going to scare them right there. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you have a lawyer? Like, no, I have this good book, the Holy Bible, right here with me, Judge. Shoot. I bet you they dismiss my case right then. I bet you they will.
Bet you they do too.
That's why they laugh when you
That's
go
some
to court.
crazy shit,
About
right?
Yes.
It really is crazy shit.
They are going onto that court is just like going onto a basketball court. And I'm telling you straight up, if you don't know how to play basketball, you shouldn't be on the court. So if you don't know what the hell you doing, you should not be going into that courtroom. Because what? You about the fact that you're going to the courtroom already lets us know you don't know what you're talking about. Because why are you walking into the courtroom? Like, I wouldn't. I'd be talking to the bailiff. Like, bailiff, I need to set up an arbitration because what? I don't like the way they misrepresenting me here. This is a misrepresentation of who I am. So before I blow this whole courthouse up, just set me up for an arbitration. So,
Yeah, man.
And the one Supreme Court that trumps them all is the U.S. Postmaster. Hell yeah, Victoria.
Yeah.
So when we do all of this, we can basically put ourselves in the position of the Postmaster General. We are, when I told you that we're under England territorially, internationally, they own that name or that birth certificate internationally. So the queen, though, what y'all got to understand is the queen, how do you think the queen gets paid? Do any of y'all want to take a guess on how the queen gets paid? I mean, she dead, so it's the king now, but taxes, but what kind of taxes? It's not just taxes like we're paying to the federal government. Yes, Victoria, it's postal stamps. This bitch gets paid by stamps. This is how she receives her money. So, like,
come on, man. That's good.
stamps. Yes, Davion, stamps. When I heard that, I was like, what? Yes, this bitch gets paid by stamps. So, like, that's how you're paying your taxes to her, is putting stamps on your shit. Yes. So, like, yeah, of course they're making trades and stuff and flipping our shit on the stock market, making as much money as they want to make. You can go on to everybody on this website can on this panel can go to the Treasury Direct and create an account. It takes like 5 minutes, but not what you think is lawful money, which is only in PO. And the stamps are obligation of the US 18 USC 8 explains. She heard you. You know a lot about the USC codes. Like, that's a lot. But yeah, so we would be making sure that, like, the whole point is to make sure you're on point, right? Because if you're going to be doing this, you just need to make sure you're doing it right. Put your stamps in the right place and use the right mailing thing, because you should always do registered mail, either the red or the white, never the green. So it's like all these different little rules. But if you follow the rules in a game of Monopoly, they don't set nobody up for failure. All of us start off with the same amount of money in Monopoly. And when I tell you we playing Monopoly, like, we really playing Monopoly over here. Like, it's crazy because everything is built off of credit. That's why your credit score matters so much. Because, like, if I can't trust you, I'm not about to give you some of your money. I can't even trust you. Sorry if I got off topic. I've dealt with severe trauma and got no attention span and short-term memory from it. You okay, Victoria? Never use United States zoning codes, which is the zip codes and 2-letter abbreviation. Ooh, okay. I never knew that. So even when you put it on the envelope, you don't put the zip code on there? Or the 2-letter abbreviation for the state? Should you just write out like the whole state name, like TEXAS, like don't put TX? That's what you're saying? So, but yeah, so you'll be putting yourself in the position of a postmaster general, and you can bracket it and write out the whole statement. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, the whole point is when you are doing your process, you will also do rural free delivery. Oh, is that right? I hope all of us is writing this down. Who writing this down somewhere? Who is writing this down somewhere? Because y'all just giving all types of good stuff in these comments that keeps them from knowing your true address. First lady, she writing a book. She putting all this down in her book so we all know. So don't forget to add the don't put the whole state name and the zip codes in it too, First Lady. What's up, Chrissy Cakes? Oh yeah. Come on up.
Hey, you want to hear something weird?
Uh-huh.
All right, this is real weird. indentured servant. Yeah, obviously you guys know indentured servant. So I was watching this thing on voodoo priests raising the dead, and apparently when you get raised from the dead from one of these voodoo priests, it's just what I saw. Um, they're put into indentured service for 20 years. They're called
Really?
indentured servant. I kid you not. Oh, shit.
Yes.
I
Oh.
Grand Rising to you all. I'm the
And she,
truth.
her.
How are you guys? Grand Rising. Um, so what's going on is this. It's everything that you said is so true. But what the people don't understand is that these rules were put in place to control their corporate entity. When they declared their independence, they declared their independence from Great Britain. When they came over here, they were sent over here by the Moors to do commerce. But in the midst of it, they decided that they were going to run away from their slave owners. And they came here and they talked to the indigenous people. And the indigenous people agreed that, yeah, everyone deserves to be free. So we accepted them and we gave them grace and we allowed for them to declare their independence from Great Britain. And they created their institution called the United States. But the United States is literally just a 10 by 10 square miles around Washington, D.C. Like you said, the rest of the land is free territory. It's national land. It belongs to the Aboriginal and Indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
15, 15 USC 1, when you read it, it lets you know that all contracts are deceptive. When you go to 15 USC 1692, it breaks down their deception, how they're false and misleading their representation, how all forms are deceptive. And once we understand that, you know how you said you're going in the courtroom with your Bible? Title
Mm-hmm.
15, Title 15 is your Bible codified. It explains to you everything from the very beginning to the end. When you go to Title 15 USC 1692, explains their
Wait, you said
deception.
it's under 1692, Title 15?
Title 15, it's 15 USC. That's how you know it's Title 15 because it says 15 USC 1692. It breaks down their deception. Title 12 breaks down the banking system. So when you understand that the United States is bankrupt, it
Mm-hmm.
tells you exactly the process to use in dealing with these people in commerce. Because everything that they're doing is deception. An application, see what they do is they play with words with us. An application, they tell us that it's one thing, but an application is nothing but a petition for relief. The moment that you put in an application and you can go to 15 USC 1601, that is truth in lending. Truth in lending is telling you, explaining to you how this credit system in the United States work because we have no money, as you explained. And we haven't had any money since 1932 when Noble Drew Ali went to the Pan American Convention in Havana and he bought and presented to them the land patent, letting them know that their time is up and that we will not be renewing their lease to lease the land. The Aboriginal people allowed for them to lease the land. But in this peace treaty that we created, look up the peace and friendship treaty between the Aboriginals and the United States.
You said
They
the
were not,
Peace and Friendship Treaty?
yes, ma'am, it's called the peace and friendship. And it's the longest standing lawful treaty that still exists to this day. But in this treaty, they were not supposed to interfere with the indigenous people and their rights to move about freely on the land. But
Which
because
was this? It looks like it's several.
no, it's only one, the Peace and Friendship Treaty. I believe it's 17. Don't quote me on that. I have to look it up again. But I know it's the only treaty that is still standing with the United States.
Damn, you're doing this off the memory?
I can't. Yes, I am. I'm doing this off the
Oh
memory, but I
shit.
cannot recall right off
You
the
think
top
in
of my.
1933? Because they came out with a few of them, so I just want to show people the right one.
Yeah, I have
Apparently,
to look. I have it written down, but I can't remember right off that. I can't remember right off off the top of my head, exactly which one, which year, it was. But it's a peace and friendship treaty between the indigenous people and the United States Corporation. The laws are right off the top of my head because I've been studying them for the past 3 years. I had a friend of mine that was originally on bigo, and she was in law school. And as she was in law school, she recognized that they weren't teaching them anything about law. They was teaching them all policies and procedures, rules and regulations. So she was asking her professors, so when do we get to learning the law? And her professor let her know that they don't teach the law. So she quit. She quit law school and she started to doing her own research and she came across Title 15. And when you read Title 15, it's commerce and trade. You can go to Law Cornell and you can go through the laws and it breaks down everything. And Title 15 is explaining to you from the very beginning, 15 USC 1, that all contracts are illegal. And if you understand anything about law, you know legal has nothing to do with law. Legal just means you're consenting to it, right? So what the law says is that you can't even consent to a contract. So from the very inception, it's deception. And who are they deceiving? These, as we know, none of the states have anything to do with the United States. But what they did do was come together under these laws called the United States Commercial Codes. I mean, the Uniform Commercial Codes. They're all in agreement to utilize Uniform Commercial Code, but it's unlawful. So the states are tricking the people into believing through their deceptive forms that we are all a part of the United States. And what they're actually doing is they're false and misleading their representation, which is 15 USC 1692E, and they're giving you falsified information in their false documents, which is 15 USC 1692F, and then they're misleading you by making you believe that you have a contractual obligation, which 15 USC 1 lets you know it's all deception.
right?
Wow.
So when we
Absolutely.
when we read these laws, you understand how to combat their forms because all of their forms are deceptive from the beginning. An application, they're calling it an application, but it's a petition for relief from the United States. And anyone that is giving you these applications, what they're doing is they are deceiving the United States and they're bringing false claims against the United States. Because on
So
every
the
listen, on every application you fill out, they ask you to put your name, they ask you to put your social security number, which is nothing but your EIN number. And they're usurping funds out of this trust account, which is the CESTAQ trust. But if you don't know it and you just filling out this application with no questions, you just made it legal. And legality
right.
is attached to the Uniform Commercial Code because you have a right. People have a right to make their own decisions. So if you agree to it, they can actually now hold you liable to this contractual obligation. You get it?
Yes,
They have the right to
absolutely.
assume, they have the right to assume that you understand and the right to presume because you understand. But once you start to combat them with the United States codes, because if you're saying to me that this is all based off of the United States, and you're asking me, am I a United States citizen? Which, let's be very clear, anyone that is melanated cannot be a United States citizen, which is in the Constitution. You cannot be a United States citizen What does that make you? You're an American national. You belong to the state in which you were born. Not you, the natural living person, because 15 USC 1692A will define to you what a natural person is. And it is 15 USC 1692A3 defines a consumer as a natural person obligated or allegedly obligated to pay a debt. And why are they saying that you're a natural person obligated or allegedly obligated? Because where there's an or, you as the natural person who only has to answer to your creator have an option. You can either be obligated or you can be allegedly obligated. And if you ask
Right.
me, I'm always allegedly obligated, and I need you to prove it. So if I'm telling you that and truth in lending, which is 15 USC 1601, 15 USC 1601 explains to you how the credit
So what's my
system.
handwriting in Johnny's letter? Rush writing.
Sneaky Link, I'm gonna have to drop you
Yeah,
because
drop these people. Get rid of them.
if
They come
if
right
I hear
in.
noise, I'm gonna have to let y'all go. Come on now.
Yeah.
1601 of Title 15 explains to you how the credit system works in the United States, because again, we have no money. Everything is credit. 1681 also explains to you how no one can deny you of any application you fill out. The moment that you fill out that application, it is supposed to be granted upon request. And if it is not granted upon request, someone is committing fraud against the United States. You have a right to file a quitam as a whistleblower against any of these private corporations, because they're all private corporations, including the state. You have a right to file a quitam against these states or any corporation because they are falsifying all their forms. All forms are falsified. You
So
cannot
she
be.
heard real
Yes,
quick,
ma'am.
how far have you gotten in your process?
Well, I literally am on my third year of studying. I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people say that it has taken them up to 7 years to fully get a full understanding of the law. But I am on my third year, but I have definitely been able to stop payments on my. I was 1,500. I only paid
Mute
$100.
yourself, box 4. Mute yourself, God tracker. She's echoing.
I only owed $1,500 left on my car. But once I obtained this information, it started clicking so quickly for me that I decided to start executing. And I started sending them out documents based off of the United States codes. And I received a letter back from my car dealership that said, "We don't believe that we committed a crime, but we will cease and desist all communications." Now, listen to me when I say to you, they're playing with words, right? Because it says we will cease and desist all communication. To the average mind, it would make you think that they're not going to communicate with you anymore, meaning words, sending you paperwork. But communication, if you read Title 15 USC 1692A says communication means an attempt to collect on a debt. That's what communication is. Communication is the an attempt to collect on a debt. So they wrote me this document and said, "We don't believe that we committed a crime, but we will cease all communications. If any of these people call you at any given time, let them know that you are demanding that they cease and desist all communication and send you through the mail, because now you're trapping them because it's a game. We're playing Monopoly, remember? It's a
Yep.
game. So you want to back them into a corner and make them tell on themselves. You want to tell them that you need them to send you validation of debt. What that is prove to me, how the fuck do I owe y'all anything? And if I owe you anything, where did you get it from to give it to me? Because as I read Title 12, which is banks and banking says banks cannot loan you any money. So if a
Right.
bank can't loan me any money, where if I went to a bank and I filled out an application for an alleged loan, listen to the words that I'm using. They put on their application that you are applying for a loan. But I just told you all of their forms are deceptive. You never applied for a loan. What you did was you extended credit to them, and they, because they have access to tap into the Federal Reserve, they were supposed to only be
Mm-hmm.
the man to acquire the funds that you wanted and to give that to you. But instead, they tricked you into these deceptive forms and made you
Mm-hmm.
believe that they gave you something and told you that you had to pay it back to them and with interest.
Ooh.
But Title 12 says the bank can't loan you no money. So your job is to make the bank prove to you where did they get the money from to give it to you. Because they'll never be able to do it. And now they owe you. So if
Yep.
you went and $20,000, if you went and got a $20,000 alleged loan from a bank and the bank sent you a bill in the